Hey guys, so we're going to go over the half kneeling rock today, and all of the exercises in the mobility rock family do a great job of getting the hips loose. They provide a nice traction for your lower back, and they give you an opportunity to focus on kind of gripping the floor, which does amazing things up into your shoulder girdle, wakes the rotator cuffs up, wakes the muscles that help to stabilize your scapula up. The nice thing about the half kneeling rock is it gives you an opportunity to practice the same thing with your feet, right? Traditionally, when we look at how we perform things like our squats and deadlifts, a lot of fitness professionals, and I'm just as guilty as any of them, we spent a lot of time telling people to keep weight on their heel. And if you imagine, for instance, that this is my foot, and let's say that my thumb isn't here, and let's call this the big toe, and let's call this the pinky toe, right? Traditionally, what a lot of us have taught people is to keep the weight back here on our heel. And this isn't wrong, but I believe it's incomplete, okay? Ideally, what needs to happen in those squats, those deadlift patterns, is we need to have weight here on the heel, but we also need to have it here on the pad of the big toe and the big toe itself, and the pad of the pinky toe and the pinky toe itself. So what you need to be able to do in those patterns is to grip the floor with those toes. And the nice thing about the half kneeling rock is it gives you an opportunity to work on gripping the floor with your feet without a lot of load, okay? One of the easiest ways to screw up a pattern that you're not really familiar with is to load it with a lot of weight. And so standing and trying to do this, at least initially, may not be as effective as trying to do this from a half kneeling position where you don't have all of your body weight in it. Now, I will tell you also, one of the benefits of the half kneeling rock is that you're going to get a pretty good stretch in your hips as you go through this, okay? So this is what that looks like. So we start out in the quadruped position, okay? I'm actively grabbing the floor, and let's say that I'm gonna use my left leg. I'm gonna bring my left foot up here, and I'm actively going to grab the ground with that left foot. Now, you may not be able to see what I'm doing with my feet here, primarily because I'm wearing black socks and my foot's on a black floor, but I am actively digging in with those toes, trying to grab the ground with, especially with my big toe and my pinky toe. And what that does is it creates, or it helps to support, and in some cases lift, the arch of the foot. For a lot of folks that have issues with their arches, it's not that the arch isn't there, it's that the muscles that help to create the arch aren't able to do their job, or maybe they're weak enough that they can't perform properly. This gives you an opportunity to start to wake those guys up. So again, we're here, actively grabbing the ground with my hands and my left foot. I'm going to try to keep my eyes up on the horizon, and I'm going to ease forward into that knee as far as I can go without letting my heel come up. And then I'm going to sit back as far as I can go without letting my toes come up, because remember, what I'm trying to do is keep my heel, keep weight on my heel. I'm trying to keep weight on the big toe and the pad of the big toe and behind, or underneath of rather, that pinky toe and its pad. So I've got that nice tripod effect happening in my left foot here. And I'm shifting as far forward as I can, trying to get that ankle to lube up a little bit. Shifting back. As I'm pushing forward here, I'm getting a good stretch in the groin and the hip flexor on my right side, groin on the left. As I move back, that stretch kind of moves up in here into the hamstrings. So just kind of working the hips back and forth. And then obviously I would switch and do the same thing on the other side. Now, if you look at my hand, it'll be a little bit easier to see what I'm referring to as far as that arch, because believe it or not, if I do this with my hand, you'll see the same kind of arch up here. And here on the hand, it'll be right in here. And if you watch my hand when I grip, and you may have to magnify this a little bit on your mobile device or whatever, but as I squeeze, try to dig my fingers into the ground, you'll see that little bit of an arch appear. The same thing happens with your feet. So not everybody is going to be able to squat under load with bare feet or deadlift under load with bare feet. If you haven't used those muscles in your feet for a while, if you have arch issues, that kind of stuff, putting a lot of weight on it is probably not a good idea. But while you are working through mobility exercises, if you're trying to improve your mobility in your squat, doing this without shoes so that your feet have space to move around and actually wake up, it's a good idea. And again, what you're looking for is to kind of grab the ground, not just with your hands in that quadruped position, but with your foot as well. So give it a shot.